thing, there's so many amazing things about Alien that you don't really give credit for if you just watch it once and you don't really know much about the film. So, for instance, that iconic scene with John Hurt when the alien bursts out of his chest, he was the only one who really knew the specifics of that scene. The rest of the cast knew vaguely what was going on, but they didn't know specifics. So, like, the characters weren't expecting to get sprayed by blood. So their shock and the reaction to that blood flying all over them is genuine. And it's little stuff like that that just, in my opinion, makes Scott's direction of this just so amazing. Sigourney Weaver is absolutely iconic as Ripley. Interestingly enough, Ripley in an early draft was a male role, which I think, when you consider how widely sort of regarded as one of those sort of iconic female performances, and how she sort of subverts the male traditional role as the protagonist is quite interesting, in that the early drafts of the script had all the characters as basically unisex, but they never imagined Ripley being a woman, which I thought was quite interesting. There's another reason to love Alien is it's got lots of Joseph Conrad references in, who's one of my favorite authors. The ship's called the Nostromo. If anybody hasn't looked into H.R. Geiger, who's the guy who designed the iconic stuff, don't look at it at work. If you're listening to the work, don't do that, because it's very, very sexually explicit. But the thing that really blew my mind as an adult watching Alien again, because I watched it when I was younger, but then really watching it again, is the sexuality of the film is just incredible. The attention to detail about how they went about this. Basically, the writer says that he wanted to sexually assault the audience when he made this film. He wanted to really target people, and he specifically said he wanted to target the men in the audience. And basically the whole thing is about like rape and all these sexual fears that men hold. So the alien jumps on John Hurt's face and sticks a phallic-like tail down his throat and implants its eggs in him. So it's basically, he describes it as homosexual oral rape. There's so many phallic things in there. There's a lot of stuff that's shaped like the other end, shall we say. And there's the whole thing about birth, and there's so many fears, and the comprehensive way that they went about making this incredible attention to detail with the symbolism, with the art direction, with the whole thing, the way it's written. It's such a complete attempt to just assault the audience and make them scared, not just because you're scared because you're trapped on a ship with an alien, but there's underneath all that, there is this whole subtext of rape and sexual things that are just completely assaulting the audience. And it's quite terrifying if you watch the making of documentary and see the guy who wrote it saying he wants to sexually assault the audience, because he's not the most normal looking man. So, he does look like the kind of person who wants to sexually assault people. I'm not going to make any bones about it. So it's a monumental effort, really. I mean, it's good on a sort of superficial look at it, but if you really rewatch it, I recommend anybody who's watched it before but hasn't particularly picked up on this, rewatch it and just look out for all the phallic stuff. Look out for how they're trying to be symbolic and use things. It's just an absolute masterpiece. I think Alien is probably, as much as I like The Exorcist, it's the greatest horror film of all time, because there is just so much going on with it.